That was a dramatic statement by Pierre Poilievre. I do disagree with him though, because he says nothing has changed, and I would say a significant amount has changed.
As you're probably already aware, Justin Trudeau announced his resignation earlier today in front of Rideau Cottage. In addition, he also announced that prorogation of Parliament was being exercised until March the 24th. Following this announcement, Pierre Poilievre and Jagmeet had some things to say about Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party.
Let's take a look.
Good day. Canadians desperate to turn the page on this dark chapter in our history might be relieved today that Justin Trudeau is finally leaving. But what has really changed? Every Liberal MP in power today and every potential Liberal leadership contender fighting for the top job helped Justin Trudeau break the country over the last 9 years. All Liberal politicians actively worked to pass into law the job-killing inflationary carbon tax, a tax that Carbon Tax Carney endorsed in his book. All supported a law quadrupling the tax over the next 5 years. All voted for or actively supported Trudeau's out-of-control spending, debt, and immigration. All passed Trudeau's housing policies that doubled the cost of homes. All Liberal politicians helped pass catch-and-release bail and house arrest for the most rampant reoffenders, policies that increased violent crime 50%, gun crime 116%, and hate crime by 250%. So given that Liberal MPs and leadership contenders unanimously supported everything Trudeau has done, why dump him now, right before an election? Have they had a change of heart? Is it because they feel guilty that they doubled housing costs, hiked taxes, unleashed crime, broke immigration, forced a quarter of the population into poverty? No. They continued supporting Trudeau when he did all of those things. No, their only objection is that he is no longer popular enough to win an election and keep them in power. They want to protect their pensions and paycheck by sweeping their hated leader under the rug months before an election to trick you and then do it all over again. Now, while leaderless Liberals focus on saving their jobs and fighting each other for power, the country spirals out of control, an out-of-control housing emergency, an out-of-control migrant crisis, an out-of-control $62 billion deficit, not to mention tariff threats from the United States. Oh, and another NDP Liberal carbon tax hike kicks in this April 1st. Everything's out of control, and now the government is out of control. This cannot go on. We need a carbon tax election now to choose between the NDP Liberal costly coalition that taxes your food, punishes your work, doubles your housing costs, and unleashes crime and drugs in your community, or common sense Conservatives who will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Canadians can take back control of their lives and their country. Take back control of our border. Take back control of immigration. Take back control of spending, deficits, and inflation. Take back control of our streets by locking up criminals, banning drugs, treating addiction, and stopping gun smugglers. We'll cap spending, axe taxes, reward work, build homes, uphold family, stop crime, secure borders, rearm our forces, restore our freedom, and put Canada first. All with one mission: to bring home Canada's promise that every hardworking Canadian gets a powerful paycheck and pension that buys affordable food and homes on safe streets where all are united for the country we know and love. Canada first, Canada last, Canada always. Let's bring it home.
So, that was a dramatic statement by Pierre Poilievre. I do disagree with him though, because he says nothing has changed, and I would say a significant amount has changed. And while many Canadians are celebrating today, there are some that are choosing to hold on to a sense of pessimism for some reason. The most significant thing that has changed today is that the number one bill that is the biggest threat to Canadian free speech in the internet era, Bill C-63, is officially dead. Bill C-63, which accompanied with it penalties of up to life in prison for somebody calling you a name online, or if you shoplifted and that was designated a hate crime, you could be potentially put in jail for up to life in prison. That's what Bill C-63 was offering. And it was an extremely dangerous piece of legislation, and the Conservatives were sounding the alarm on this.
As were we.
And the Canadian Constitution Foundation was sounding the alarm on this, and we were as well. So this is a massive, massive win for Canada. The other thing that this does is it completely turfs the Bill C-65, which was designed to introduce some needless changes into the election process, as well as move the official election date for this year back 1 week. So that would have allowed potentially 80 additional MPs, many of them Liberal, to actually get pensions when they shouldn't have otherwise qualified them if the election ended up going until this October. The other thing that this does is it puts the world on notice that Justin Trudeau is stepping down. Did he leave today? No. And
he's kind of like the interim leader for now.
Well, and many people are getting stuck on what he said. He said, well, I'm going to resign once the new Liberal leader is picked. Well, by default, that's what happens. That's the thing you need to understand, is that when the Liberal Party elects a new leader, he is no longer the leader.
Right. He doesn't have a deputy. So if he stepped down right now, there would be no one. So he's kind of being his own deputy leader right now, his own interim leader, by waiting until the Liberal Party selects its new leader. So is he gone right this second? Technically no, but you can call this his 4 weeks notice.
Well, and here's the thing to consider. If you imagine somebody at a company and they tender their resignation letter, then the company says, thank you very much, we accept your resignation letter. And then the person comes back a week later and says, no, I've changed my mind, I don't want to resign. The company says, no, sorry, you've resigned, we've accepted it, you're done. So that's what this was. This was essentially his public resignation letter, and the Liberal Party of Canada accepted that he was going to step down, and now they are going to fully engage in a selection of a new leader. Even if Justin Trudeau changes his mind later, he can't. He can't change his mind because the Liberal Party of Canada has said, no, sorry, we've accepted your resignation, and we're in the process of picking a new leader. By default, as soon as a new leader is selected, they become the Prime Minister of Canada.
And remember, the leader of the party, like the Liberal Party itself, is separate from the government. The Liberal Party, the Conservative Party, NDP, etc., they're all their own entities. They then come together to form government. But the fact that Justin Trudeau has said, okay, I'm stepping down as leader of the Liberal Party, the party's accepted that resignation, and there's no going back.
And for people saying, well, he'll still try and destroy Canada, he'll still try and do this, he'll still try and do that. The fact that he came out to resign today means that his ego couldn't take public embarrassment. It couldn't take all of this other rhetoric that was going to happen and has been happening over the last month about him and his quote-unquote legacy in Canada. So the fact that he even came to this decision in the first place means that he couldn't deal with it anymore. So you can postulate that, well, he's just going to, then, destroy Canada. Well, he can't.
How? Yeah.
He can't. He can issue a few orders in council, sure. But anything meaningful, he can't do because he needs a parliamentary bill in order to do it.
And there is no parliament because parliament's been prorogued.
He cannot, it is literally impossible. He cannot order the Emergencies Act. He cannot declare war. He cannot issue a national emergency. He can't do anything by himself.
The only thing that he can really do that's meaningful is go to the Governor General and say, You know how I asked you to prorogue Parliament? Well, now I'm asking you to dissolve Parliament, which would mean we would go immediately to election.
Right. So just kind of take that all in, understand what happened today. This was Trudeau's resignation letter. Liberal Party of Canada said, thank you very much. So that letter is in. He's done. And the irony is once a new leader is selected, Trudeau ceases to become prime minister and is just a regular MP. He's not even in cabinet anymore. So that's the interesting thing about this. And it's likely that he will resign from his position as an MP shortly before the election so that they can run somebody else in Papineau. As for, is there going to be accountability for Justin Trudeau or anything like that after the election when the Conservatives take power? That remains to be the question. And that's why we encourage you to get out, get involved, make your voice heard with your EDA, with your candidate or current MP if they are a Conservative MP, and let them know what you would like to see and expect if a Conservative government is voted into office, which we expect that they will be. So this is the interesting thing about this. But that's where I disagree with Pierre Poilievre. A lot has changed, but where Pierre is bang on, and Tanya and I agree on this point as well, is every single Liberal MP in that House, you are culpable in the state that Canada is in.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you guys were content to follow Justin Trudeau and vote the way he asked you to vote, and that's why as Canadians we're in this mess right now. You guys were more than happy to do that. And now that he's no longer popular, now that he's costing you your seats, you've come out and said, oh, we need a new leader.
Yeah, that's the epitome of weak leadership.
It's the epitome of a weak caucus. Like the ministers, the backbenchers, the prime minister, all of them.
Yeah, this has been the party and the government of Trudeau, and you made it happen. You let it happen. And you supported it happening.
Right. You didn't stand up for what was right. You didn't stand up for what was right for your constituents, especially. And it seems like, at least from where I'm sitting, that the only reason you guys put so much pressure on Trudeau to resign is because you weren't going to have a seat anymore.
100%. And when the polls dipped to 16%, the Liberals went into panic mode and started threatening, came out and started talking to reporters and issuing statements and calling a 6-hour caucus meeting and all of this stuff. So this is the result. So no, you don't get a pass. You don't get a pass on this at all. So this will be the interesting test. And the Liberal Party Constitution says it needs 90 days to actually have a leadership race. Well, there's less than 90 days between now and March 24th.
Well, as I had speculated last night on our live stream, I think it's possible that they prorogue just kind of long enough to get that leadership race started. They'll go back on March the 24th. We know the date now. And it'll be voted down immediately. After that throne speech, there's not going to be confidence in this government. So they're going to vote it down and then go to election. And in that time frame, that's going to be between 37 and 51 days after that government falls, then a leader will be chosen, and then the Liberals can go and campaign.
So we'll see what happens. That remains to be seen as to what the Liberal Party of Canada now does on their side. But we will be watching in the meantime. Now, not to be laughed out, Mr. Singh of the NDP decided to put out a statement of himself. And because the NDP has no money, they couldn't afford an actual video. I'm actually surprised they were able to afford a keyboard or a phone to actually type this out and post it on X. But here's the statement put out by Jagmeet Singh. Justin Trudeau has let you down over and over. He let you down on the cost of housing and groceries. He let you down on fixing healthcare. It doesn't matter who leads the Liberals. They don't deserve another chance. Conservatives are jumping at the opportunity to take from you and give to CEOs. You will pay the price of Poilievre's cuts. If you oppose callous Conservative cuts, if you oppose the rich getting richer while everyone else falls further behind, stand with the NDP this time. You can have a government that works for you for a change. Jagmeet Singh.
You guys work to support this Liberal government in the destruction of this country, like the entire time since what, 2002 was it? Or sorry, 2022. like the last at least 2 years, all this is your fault. You guys have a hand in this just as much as the Liberal backbenchers who were not giving a pass to, because again, they voted in favor of this. So did the NDP.
Right. You were effectively in cabinet without actually negotiating cabinet positions, which means you're a terrible negotiator. So this is what it means for the NDP. They tied their horse to Justin Trudeau, and then when they thought they untied it, forgot, oh, there was still 6 other knots there that still attached us to the horse, and then it kept going. And that continued up until December. Well, it all blew up in their face when a week later, Chrystia Freeland resigned, and the whole Liberal government just blew apart. And now you're like, Justin Trudeau doesn't deserve another chance, even though we just voted for him.
And neither does the Liberal Party, even though we just voted confidence in their government.
Right? So, and he tried to spin this. He tried to spin this before Christmas when he said, oh, well, you know, Justin Trudeau needs to step down. Justin Trudeau needs to step down. Are you going to vote non-confidence in Liberals? Well, all options are on the table.
It's always on the table.
And then he got annihilated on multiple media outlets interviewing him. And then emergency caucus meeting of the NDP where they're probably like, Jagmeet, what the frick are you doing? You're a moron. It's time. We don't have any more runway. It's time. It was time 6 months ago, but it's time. And then all of a sudden a statement comes out from Jagmeet and says, oh, I don't care who the leader in the Liberal government is. We're voting them down. So he's doubled down on this again. So they will vote non-confidence. Okay, fine.
I mean, that remains to be seen, but I guess we'll find out on March 24th.
It's one of the few times he's actually been consistent and given a solid direction. So.
I think they will vote non-confidence on March 24th, because if they don't, that's going to absolutely destroy their party instead.
Well, put it this way. The Liberal Party is now a smoldering ruin right now, and they are probably just like tiptoeing away from that because a nuclear bomb went off twice. First Freeland and now this. And Jagmeet has his pension by then, so that's no problem. So of course you're going to see that. And that's going to be one of the main pieces of ammunition that Pierre Poilievre is going to be using against the NDP is...
During the campaign, yeah.
Is the pension. It's like,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, sure, now you vote against them. You already have your pension. Where were you a week before Christmas?
Right.
Nothing significant happened between then and now. So what changed? Other than Trudeau stepping down. Come on.
And Freeland resigned her cabinet seat. But, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, is it that significant? No, there's still no confidence in the government. It didn't take the finance minister resigning to have no confidence in the government. Canadians have not had confidence in this government for a very long time.
Well, no policies changed.
Right.
Like, nothing significant happened in Canada. So, like, you supported them, and then the finance minister resigning, all of a sudden, oh, that's bad. Well, no policy changed, but now you can't support them? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, wait, it's Jagmeet Singh. So this is where things are. The NDP is they're just in limbo. They're in political purgatory at this point. The Liberals are in a smoldering mess because the Liberal Party of Canada has to figure out this leadership race now. And it's probably going to be Chrystia Freeland that takes over because she was the leading candidate. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
I guess we'll see.
If they were smart, well, you know what? People keep telling me to stop giving advice to the Liberal Party. So I'll say if they're smart, they would do what I would do, and I'm not going to tell you.